A community of various cultures with unique differences.
From a very young age, I learned about hope and gratitude through the most challenged people. They were just surrounded by color. I can't explain it, but it was just this joy and happiness.
From overcoming hardship to celebrating success and resiliency.
Some people that are from the United States or maybe not minorities sometimes have a hard time grasping why is it important that it has to be the first one. It's not necessarily for me or for my own pleasure, it's just for the awareness of people.
An influential force impacting generations to come.
I want to be seen, I want to be heard, I want to show people that us Latinos are really hardworking and, we are so capable of a lot of things.
Queen City News celebrates Hispanic Heritage Month.
I'm Alicia Barnes. Thank you for joining us. Over the past month, celebrations have taken over the Charlotte area and nationwide, recognizing the contributions of Hispanic Americans. And today, we want to share some of their amazing stories. Before Hispanic Heritage Month came to be, there was a Hispanic Heritage Week, and it was created through legislation sponsored by Mexican-American Congressman Edward Roy Ball. President Lyndon B. Johnson signed it into law, creating an annual week-long celebration. Well, the annual commemoration was then expanded to a full month in 1988, and it provided an opportunity to honor the notable achievements and contributions of Hispanics and their impacts on the global stage. Well, now there's a plethora of celebrations between September 15th and October 15th that take place all across the nation. And here in the Queen City, the area's largest Hispanic Heritage Festival draws thousands of people into Uptown. Hola Charlotte offers a chance to honor Hispanic populations for how they've shaped us in the past and present, and it embraces the vibrant Latin American culture and all of its diversity. Well, this year, Charlotte Fire made history with the promotion of its first immigrant battalion chief. Juan Pablo Soto received his new badge with the bold words Battalion Chief embossed on it. He was born in Guatemala and came to the U.S. with dreams to follow his father's footsteps into a branch of the U.S. military. And he joins me now here in the studio. First, I want to say, Chief Soto, thanks for being here with us and on this Hispanic Heritage Month, talking about what this really means for this month in terms of celebration in your culture. What does it mean to you?
Thank you, Alicia. Well, it's honestly just it's something to be proud about, and it's just something that we always enjoy. It's a way to celebrate our culture, our food, our people, and it's just an excuse to do even more of what we usually do. So it's really good.
In years past, we weren't able to see this type of celebration. I feel like it's now really coming to the forefront. Why is that?
It's gotten a lot more exposure, definitely, and I think also because the Latino population has significantly increased, and that has helped. I mean, it's the festival that we had a couple weeks ago was amazing, and every year it just gets better and better. And I think just with the amount of Latinos that are moving here, it just becomes more and more aware every year. So.
And this year, this will be your first Hispanic Heritage Month in your new position as battalion chief.
Correct.
For people out there who are now hearing this and they hear the word the first, some people say, well, why do we celebrate the first? It's 2023, but there's really a meaning behind that. What is that for you?
And it is. I mean, I have heard since I'm the first immigrant battalion chief that has moved from another country and joined the fire department. When I joined, I was the only fourth Latino at that time. And now, fast forward to being promoted to battalion chief, and it's just one of those things that is just a good awareness to people. Some people that are from the United States or maybe not minorities sometimes have a hard time grasping why is it important that it has to be the first one. It's not necessarily for me or for my own pleasure, it's just for the awareness of people. When people see it, when kids see it, when teenagers see it, and I think if I would have seen it when I was 14, 15 years old, I would have been like, man, that's a job I can do. If he did it when he came here from another country at 18 and was able to join the fire department, here 20 years later, he's still growing within the fire department. It is an amazing testimony that everybody can do it.
I want to ask you personally, when you see somebody who is younger, who looks up to you and they see you in your uniform and they know that you are the battalion chief and you know that you're the first immigrant battalion chief for the Charlotte Fire Department, do you have any personal stories, or have you seen that glimmer in any kid's eyes that make you go, you know what, it was all worth it?
It is to this day, and it's the funny thing is that it's not only with me, I'm more aware of it because with minorities, whenever we have an African-American, especially when we have a woman in the truck, people see her and they're like, oh my God, it's like there's a woman that is in the fire department. And for me, it's just when I try to be very involved, especially in events like when we do community service, when I go to a Latino school and the kids are Latino, the parents are Latinos, like they're all looking at me like, my God, you are a battalion chief. Like for some reason, it looks like a very important position, but the kids love it, and the kids always, and talking to them in Spanish and knowing that they're like somebody like understand them and knows them. You get a lot of good feedback from that, but more than anything is when we go to calls and the people don't speak Spanish, English, I'm sorry, and the crew doesn't speak Spanish. That is probably what brings the most joy and the most proud when I'm able to help people.
In terms of the language barrier.
In terms of the language and the culture too, because some people don't understand sometimes, not only looking Latino or being Latino, but when you understand and speak the language, it brings such a calm to the scene, you know, it brings such a calm presence to the people that are asking for help because they know that somebody understands them. And then I can also explain to my crew and the fire department, hey, this is the reason why we do certain things. This is the reason why we don't call immediately. This is the reason why when we call, sometimes they don't even know the address.
Right.
But there's a reason behind all this, you know, and when you can explain to both and also with the patient, you can tell them, listen, we're asking you these questions because we're here to help. We're not the police, we're not immigration, we're the fire department. We're here to help you, because sometimes I get feedback like, why are you asking me that question? You know, I'm like, we're
just here to help.
We're here to make sure you're okay. We don't care where you come from, what you look like, what you speak. I just want to help you. We need to understand, and we need to ask you certain questions to help the way the best for you to be.
Well, we are just so thankful that you're able to be here as we celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, and we just want to thank Chief Juan Pablo Soto for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you, Alicia.
And from breaking barriers to finding inspiration, a Charlotte artist's colorful take on life is a reflection of her bicultural heritage and fond memories. Well, every stroke of her paintbrush brings back a fond memory of her upbringing in South America, and that personal history comes to the forefront in a swirl of colors on canvas. Queen City News reporter John Lee gets to the roots of the matter.
This one here is about alpacas.
In a Charlotte art studio, we learned something wild about the artist and, yes, alpacas.
Some of the silkiest wool on the planet.
Tina Alberni finds warmth through her work as if she put on an alpaca sweater. The semi-abstract artist works in a creative flurry and draws attention to a stark reality.
When they're sheared incorrectly, industrially, they're harmed and abused. Color speaks to me. It's a language where I can communicate.
Alberni usually paints in themes. Lately, she's focused on endangered animals. One of her past series included a collection of rooftops.
All of my work, if you look at through all my series of work, it's very bright and colorful.
The art reflects her bicultural heritage and fond memories growing up in South America.
When I was very young, we moved to Colombia, which was only going to be for a few years.
Her family stayed long enough to make a lasting imprint on Alberni's art.
The colors that I grew up with, there was color in life in everything, like from the food we ate, to the nature we looked at, to the people we met, to the smiles on people's faces.
Her color palette pays homage to Andean culture.
From a very young age, I learned about hope and gratitude through the most challenged people. They were just surrounded by color. I can't explain it, but it was just this joy and happiness. So for me, color is joy and happiness, and I associate that with everything I do in my work.
Her sense of artistic direction may seem random.
This will turn into something very different in the end, but I have to start somewhere.
But her childhood in Colombia still guides her.
But I always bring all my paintings to a point of hope in the end.
In Charlotte, John Lee, Queen City News.
So beautiful. In recognition of Hispanic Heritage Month, Alberni's work is part of a fall art exhibition in Charlotte, which also includes other local Latino artists.
Having him here at the bank, like right in front of me, I believe I'm going to faint that day.
The proclaimed king of soccer creating excitement here in the Queen City, the magic of Messi, and the boost in business ahead of his Charlotte visit. And a special business satisfying some very picky customers. The owners curated treats that's inspiring other Latinas to take that leap of faith. You're watching Carolina's own Queen City News as we honor this Hispanic Heritage Month.
Queen City News is honored to bring awareness to Hispanic Heritage Month. In 1526, Spaniard Lucas Vasquez de Leon established the first European settlement in present-day South Carolina and the United States, San Miguel de Guadalupe. For an in-depth read about the Queen City's diverse Hispanic culture, please head to qcnews.com. Queen City News is honored to bring awareness to Hispanic Heritage Month. Of athletes and sport leaders who have called the Carolinas home, we note former Panthers head coach Ron Rivera. He was named NFL Coach of the Year in 2013 and 2015 and has led the Panthers to 3 straight division titles and an appearance in Super Bowl 50. For an in-depth read about the Queen City's diverse Hispanic culture, please head to qcnews.com.
He is known by one name like a lot of major sports stars, Messi, and he's creating quite the buzz here in the Queen City ahead of Charlotte FC's match against Inter Miami. Fans have been buying jerseys and buying tickets since the announcement the soccer star was joining the MLS. Well, the soccer star has a lot of supporters here in the Queen City, and news anchor Will Lewis spoke with excited fans about how Charlotte has become one of the top Messi-obsessed cities.
With one announcement, Lionel Messi catapulted Major League Soccer.
It's going to bring a massive amount of fans, like the fans' eyes to the MLS. People who probably would have never even given the MLS a second chance, now they're going to want to come see it.
Many of Charlotte's Hispanic residents already knew about Messi's greatness on the field, with soccer being a major sport for them growing up. Seeing the star from Argentina bring his talents to Inter Miami means a lot of cities, including the Queen City, can catch a glimpse of Messi.
In my book, I don't ever see myself going overseas to actually watch him play. So him coming to us, I really can't describe it. It's like he will be here. That's all I can say. He will be here and I will see him.
Fans could have 2 chances to see Messi in October, once on the road in Miami, and then the final home match for Charlotte FC on October 21st.
I think as far as attendance goes, it could very well surpass opening night or be close to it.
Researcher Bryant Bauckham has been looking at Messi mania since the announcement. Charlotte ranked as the 4th most Messi-obsessed city across the U.S. and Canada. The data was released in an article for Sporting Book. He looked at hashtags on social media, internet searches, and ticket sales.
The cheapest at the time of this study, it may have changed and likely will before the game in October, was $148 for the cheapest ticket. And the most expensive was $15,668. Now, that's the 3rd most expensive.
Some may not pay thousands, but it is what is listed. Charlotte's lowest ranking was the hashtags. But why talk about it when there's a possibility you could see a legend in person? And that is what many residents of a growing population in the Queen City are hoping for.
Having him here at the bank, like right in front of me, I believe I'm going to faint that day.
Will Lewis, Queen City News.
Well, researchers say Charlotte could have moved up to the 2nd or 3rd most Messi-obsessed city with more of an online presence. Charlotte FC's first homegrown player is being honored in Uptown. The soccer club is sponsoring an art exhibit that will celebrate the artistic expressions and cultural heritage of Hispanic and Latino immigrants in the United States. It includes a special art piece around Brian Romero. The work of more than 20 Latino artists are also on display through October the 27th, and the exhibition will be at Grand Bohemian, the garden there on West Trade Street.
For me, it has been, like the color of my skin. It has been, just like English being my second language. I think it's always been a barrier for me.
Breaking barriers, Latino business owner satisfying picky customers and hoping to inspire the next generation. Queen City News continues our celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month.
Queen City News is honored to bring awareness to Hispanic Heritage Month. The Census Bureau began to record Hispanic or Latino origin among the foreign-born in the United States in 1980. At that time, 3,962 persons, less than 1% of Mecklenburg County's total population, were of Hispanic or Latino origin. For an in-depth read about the Queen City's diverse Hispanic culture, visit our website, qcnews.com.
Queen City News News is honored to bring awareness to Hispanic Heritage Month. In the 1990s, North Carolina Latinos began to branch out into fields of work other than farming. Many found jobs and settled along the state's urbanized I-85 corridor, placing Wake, Mecklenburg, Forsyth, Guilford, and Durham counties among the 30 U.S. counties with the highest rates of Latino population growth. For an in-depth read about the Queen City's diverse Hispanic culture, please head to qcnews.com.
And data shows nearly 5 million Hispanic-owned businesses contribute more than $800 billion to the American economy every year. And one of those businesses is in Fort Mill, South Carolina. Queen City News anchor Annie Satowski introduces us to the owner who's whipping up treats for some very picky customers.
They say baking is a science full of exact ratios to make the perfect cookie or cake.
I think, it's been a learning process.
But in Jocelyn Pineda's case, it's all about a feeling to make sure these particular treats are just right.
Just as time went on, I feel like I just got better.
Because after all, these confections are going to the most discerning of customers.
You have some on your nose, buddy.
Pineda is the owner of Treats by Marisol, a human-grade, all-natural gourmet dog bakery in Charlotte. And her doodle, Rocky, is the chief treat tester.
Actually, it was my boyfriend's idea to start a dog bakery. The day that he suggested it, I threw the biggest fit. I said, "Are you crazy? I don't think I can do this. I don't even know what dogs eat."
Probably because Pineda's background is in social work, a career she held for more than 8 years.
I found my true passion late, but I found it.
But since that day in 2021,
I made a batch of treats for Rocky, and they were just the most horrible thing.
She's certainly figured it out, making not only elaborate custom cakes, cupcakes, and cookies, but cranking out themed releases and subscription boxes too.
I'm smiling right now because I could just think of all the situations when people have picked up the cakes, and I've had several clients who almost shed a tear, honestly. Like, it's crazy.
Turns out being an entrepreneur is in her blood.
My parents were also small business owners, but unfortunately they had to leave their small businesses to come in, to the U.S. and give us a better life, be able to get us to college. So that wasn't something they could have pursued.
It's why Pineda is proud to represent her Guatemalan heritage through her baking and by supporting other Latino-owned businesses.
I want to be seen. I want to be heard. I want to show people that us Latinos are really hardworking, and we are so capable of a lot of things. So and that's not also representing just myself, but my family, my friends, just showcasing the beautiful culture that we have.
Pineda says she's been able to leverage the power of social media to her advantage.
I feel like Instagram has really played a big part as to growing my following. Usually when I have events, I have people follow me and check me out there, and people see all the pictures of the cakes that I do, and it just kind of gets people going, excited. It also has helped me extend my products all over the U.S. I've shipped to Puerto Rico, Kansas, Iowa, and a lot of other states.
But as people scroll through Pineda's feed of carefully curated treats and happy dogs, she wants you to know it hasn't been a cakewalk.
I've had people trying to put me down, but it's just hard to, not let that get to you on a personal level, For me, it has been, the color of my skin. It has been, just English being my second language. I think it's always been a barrier for me. It's kind of showcasing people that, I can do what somebody else can do.
But it's a learning curve she's happy to be on, in a way, paving the road for other Latinas to take their own leap of faith.
I will encourage them until, from day one. And I do have a lot of small businesses who are Latin owned, and they just have been such an inspiration to me, Being a Latina and working a full-time business, it's a dream.
Annie Satowski, Queen City News.
And from cooking up inspiration in the kitchen to encouraging future generations to go after their dreams. Just amazing. Well, UNC Charlotte student is making waves beyond her community with her love of dance and her culture. Melody Romero Shanahan combines classical ballet with Mexican folklore, and she was using her abilities since she was 7 years old to celebrate her Mexican roots. Shanahan spends countless hours in studios perfecting her craft to be the best dancer that she can be. And her motivation is her mother, a Mexican immigrant, who at the age of 19 found herself fighting for this life for her children.
It's important because the culture has its values, the diversity, and the way I present my dancing. I want to be able to break boundaries through the cultures, especially Mexico, because that's what I mainly represent.
And Shanahan says that she wants to inspire people to follow their dreams, and she also hopes to help create more diversity in the world of dance.
Queen City News is honored to bring awareness to Hispanic Heritage Month. Of the celebrities who have called the Carolinas home, we note Ariana DeBose. The Wilmington-born actress, dancer, and singer is an Oscar, Tony, and Golden Globe winner. In 2022, Time magazine named her one of the most 100 influential people in the world. For an in-depth read about the Queen City's diverse Hispanic culture, please head to qcnews.com.
Queen City News is honored to bring awareness to Hispanic Heritage Month. In an effort to improve service to the state's Latino population, in September 1998, Governor James B. Hunt Jr. appointed H. Nolo Martinez as North Carolina's first Director of Hispanic Latino Affairs. For an in-depth read about the Queen City's diverse Hispanic culture, please head to qcnews.com.
Well, thank you for joining us on this special edition of Queen City News. And we're honored to share the voices of Latino and Hispanic Americans in our area who are making a difference. I'm Alicia Barnes, and happy Hispanic Heritage Month.